running better than ESO. And that's the truth. It's the worst. Okay, now that could be a number of things. It could have been a number of things. But Matt is sitting here reconfirming, yes, we have problems. Yes, we are on it. And finally, yes, we have put this off long enough. You cannot do that. And that was the problem. Now, I applaud the effort, and I've said if the performance gets there, I might end up going back to Elder Scrolls Online. My problem of it is becomes this. What about the players who might not go back because you were too greedy, because you waited 5 years? When you burn bridges, sometimes you can't rebuild those. And you cannot put things out with broken promises or delays for years. You just can't. It's not good business, man. It's not. And trust and communication, go hand in hand. If you're not communicating, why should someone trust what's going to happen? It's not in their best interest to trust somebody who has nothing to say. That's just not in their best interest. So, because that's blind faith, That's blind faith. And that's what these White Knights are. They have blind faith. And it takes real results and real customers to bitch and drop subs and not buy anything before a company will, do things. And I want to applaud the consumers who say, fuck you, I'm not buying anything until you fix this. I tip my hat off to those people. Why? Because they know they're not getting their money's worth. They know it's not in their best interest to pay and reward a company for bad behavior. And I applaud that. I really, really do. Because it's those type of people that really do make a difference. It's when multiple people stop paying that companies take notice. When they start losing money, then they realize we've got to do something because now we're losing money. We're losing profit. Well, yeah, you are. And the White Knights for Elder Scrolls have been something of complete. If ignorance is bliss, I want what they have. Because they're ignorant. And they're completely happy with even the shittiest performance from ESO. I wish I could be like that. Unfortunately, I'm not. Probably because I'm not ignorant. But if you want to be ignorant and you want to have bliss, go ahead. Drink it up, ladies and gentlemen. Anyways, I wanted to go over that. So I want to thank Matt, Anna, and Jessica. I'm not going to go into the comments because there are people who said thank you for the communication. I agree. Thank you for the communication. I'm tipping my hat off for that. And once they get these resolved, and I do agree, you can't rush these type of things because unfortunately, as you're implementing these changes, you have to look at, the previous, coding, the previous parameters, and make sure when you're introduced. Remember the pipeline disaster when they tried to fix the pipeline? We saw increased performance, but unfortunately, endless load screens. You don't want those disasters to, come back to bite you in the ass. So I agree. They have to make sure that when they implement all of these new changes, it's going to have a smooth transition. And once again, I tip my hat off for that. Anyways, I'm going to go in and hopefully, I'm going to have to reconnect to the game, but but anyways, yeah, I definitely wanted to do that. I wanted to introduce the White Knights to reality. I know it's been a minute. I know it's been some time since they've, been introduced to reality, but yeah, there you go. I know it's hard, White Knights. Don't be a White Knight. For God's sakes, be objective. And, the funny thing is, when do you get results in life? When you put your foot down. when you put your foot down, right? You have to understand. Don't be a bunch of fucking pussies your entire lives. God, that's the problem in our society. My grandfather said it. My grandfather's like, your generation is a bunch of pussies. He's like, you'll let one of your coworkers walk out while they fucking bend you over and rape you. And when that guy says, no, you're not raping me, you'll let him walk out and continue to get fucked in the process. Because there's only strength in numbers. And he's like, you'll lose benefits, you'll lose retirement, you'll lose everything. Because they won't give a shit if you don't. And that's the truth. He's like, one person's replaceable. An entire staff is not replaceable. And it amazes me, like, his words still ring in my ears. You know, it completely comes in like, you know, wow. You know, I guess he's right. You know? Oh, it's so crazy, man. I'm telling you. Crazy, crazy, boy. But yeah, no, I want to give it up to the men and women, and especially the EU players, for, you know, sticking their guns. And what can I say, man? I liked Elder Scrolls, and I do. It's one of my favorite games of all time. I can say that. I can. I honestly can. There was a lot of things I loved about ESO, and there's still a lot of pros to the game. So I'm not knocking what the game embodies. But unfortunately, there's also a lot of heartaches associated in its current state. And I have to be the type of person to say, I have to be an example. I can't go back and sit there and be a person that says, fuck ZeniMax while playing the game. Even though a lot of people do that. I can't do that. I can't be that person. I have to set an example. And if people want to be that type of people, I'm not condemning you, right? I'm not judging you, right? I'm not. I'm honestly am not trying to judge you. I'm just trying to be real in the essence that, you know, I'm not a person who can do that. I have to be the person who sets an example to say, you know what, it's unacceptable. This is unacceptable. You know, because if you keep rolling over your entire life and accept getting shit, you're going to get shit on your entire life. And that's not worth it. Right? So when you set examples and you can be that type of person to say, you know what, fuck you, this is unacceptable, fuck you, you got to stand up for not only yourself, but other people. You know? It's important in life, man. It honestly is. All right. Got to get a lot of mithril sand. All right, hold on. I got food booths too. And I think, how many of those ones do I have? 50%. I got 3 of those left. We'll use it. I think I'll be gathering enough. I think. Now we got that nice 200 and something % with our rest XP. Nice. God dang it. Every 800 number, I'll call you in the morning, I promise. All right. Now, this one should be, yeah. Yeah. Second one should be the one I'm looking for. I hope this isn't the 5-striker. It probably is. It is. Fuck. That's fine. I'm actually going to put my little marker right here. So at least I know which one it is. Yeah, I honestly really liked how the White Knights just kept saying, "Oh, there's nothing wrong. I'm in." A server could be down, and the White Knights be like, "I don't know what everybody's talking about. I'm in game. Oh, you might want to upgrade your system." And I'm like, "Are you guys dumb? Like, ping has nothing to do with your system. Like, none. You could have 60 frames per second, and you still get shit ass latency." Like you when you can tell people are really dumb is when they confuse FPS and latency. Like that's the most funniest thing when every time I read that shit, I'm like, "Yep, it's official. We have a dummy on our hands." All right, harvest away. Mystic is on it. But no, I actually, once again, man, I want to thank ZeniMax for their fuck up. Because if they not fucked up, I may have never played this game. Ever. I might have went my entire life without experiencing this fucking game. And I'm like, yeah, things happen for a reason. And of course, you know, a lot of people aren't happy that if I moved on in my life, you know, oh my God. You know, but at the same time, man, it had to happen. It had to have happened. The game just was shitball. And you know what? To the people who continue to play it and continue to whatever, you're welcome. You're welcome from all the players who stuck their ground. You're welcome. You're welcome. Because I'll be honest with you. Had the European server not had as many issues as it did, you guys might have found yourselves not getting perform. And keep in mind, these performances are going across the board. Yeah, there are going to be some issues, but in that letter, it literally addressed, we're trying to increase performance for Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. And that's important. And it's because of the European players going through this fucking headache and them saying fuck you that you're getting these upgrades. So you're welcome, because for the players who continue to keep like, oh, I'll keep paying. You didn't do yourselves any favors. You didn't do yourselves any favors. Think about that. Think about it. What'd you do? You kept paying your sub. You kept buying their content. And for what? A couple of months down the road, they finally said, oh, we're going to fix it. Was it worth supporting them financially? No, it's just showing that, you know, you couldn't let go. You couldn't let go. And I get it. PvP is a hard thing to come by. Like, there's a lot of times I've been tempted to go back in, even without paying for it. But I couldn't. I was like, no, I can't. I cannot do that. I cannot do that. I can't. I have to be the pillar. I have to be. And for all these players and the content creators, and you know what? It's funny because their biggest content creator, which is Outcast, has also been one of their biggest critics on their performance. And I find it hilarious because it's an oxymoron in more ways than one. No, I like Outcast. I think he's come a long way. He has. But he has come a very long way. But he's been the biggest critic, and it's like, but, who wants to stick their guns? Who's going to stick to their guns? Had Outcast, now here's my thing. Had Outcast said, fuck you, I'm done, and thousands of people would have rallied behind him. This might have gotten resolved sooner. But it's because of pussies like that and scared pussies, and they're scared because this is their livelihood. They're so fucking scared. They're afraid. I'll lose money. I'll lose subscriptions. You're a pussy. God damn, stop being a pussy. Stop being fucking pussies. God. And tell me if I'm wrong. Go ahead. Tell me I'm wrong. It's not until it takes one noticeable person to stand up for everybody that everybody else starts standing up. Because a bunch of pussies, man. Now, will I go back to Elder Scrolls? Well, it depends. I'm obviously not going back this year. So I'm comfortable with that. I'm not going back until it's fixed. And that's the thing. I am not touching that game until it's fixed. And I've said this, until I get on, I have 3 PCs in this house. 3. I have 3. And I have one with an i7, I have one with a Zen, and then I have my FX. And my FX is my lowest running, but it's a 3.8. All right? Or, yeah, I think it's 3.8. 8 core processor. But even on this end, I'm gonna pay attention to performance. That's what I'm gonna pay attention to. I'll log on every system I have. I'll run a check on every system, and I'll go through it. I'll be like, okay, let's take a look at this, right? Let's take a look. Let's see how this is going to work. Honestly, if it performs well and they finally get it up to par, sure, I'll go back. But I am not going back, and I'm not paying, and I refuse to pay for quality shit. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever experienced in my life. You're a AAA company. There's no excuse for that. In the beginning, there's always going to be bumps and bugs. So I'll agree with Todd on that. But that's online games. Online games is one thing. Live service games, that's a whole different other beast. But when it comes to an MMO and online games, I'm not. What I'm saying, there's a debate. When it comes to online games, there can be hiccups, but not. That's with performance and not coding. Like Todd used of course, there's hiccups, and I'm like, yeah, but yours is fundamentally flawed. You got flaws in code, bud. Yeah, you've got holes, like Swiss cheese holes in code. But honestly, I think that it's a start. And like I said, ZeniMax isn't going anywhere. They have their security blanket for at least 20 years. They've already announced they're making a new MMO, which a lot of people knew. I don't think maybe everybody knew, but a lot of people knew, right? It was data mined. It was already, whatever. They still don't have everything planned out for it. But by that time that they get it implemented, ESO will be pretty much during its end phase due to tech and everything. It's just the way. But ESO will get a good 15, 20 years out of it. It'll see a 20-year anniversary for sure. And by that time, hopefully, they'll also have performance to a certain T that the remaining years are going to be smooth transitions. It's going to have the least amount. By the time they get the upgrades out, it's going to have the least amount of turnovers. And that's what you want. You want long-term retention in these type of products, right? You want long-term retention, especially in an overcrowded market, all right? When you're having a competitive market, right, you have to understand what's your long-term game, because you've invested long-term by putting into these type of products. So the only people who can compete in this market is quality of product, quality of content, quality of performance. Performance will trump, most of this shit. And that's just the reality of it. And at the end of the day, I want what's best for a company. I'm a critic. I'm an asshole. But I usually have a pretty good track record of these things. Why? Because I've done it. I used to do these so many things for so many companies. Be like, yeah, this is going good here, but you're having a latency problem. There's memory leak. Here's a problem with the coding. Here, it's not resolving. We get into more technical applications, and that's what I did. That's just. So I understand it. So when somebody tells me, oh, Mystic, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Because you're not talking. All you're doing is trolling. That's all you're doing. You don't really understand. There is a fucking major issue here. There are major fucking issues. These have to be addressed. And at the end, it wasn't worth it, was it? Was it worth white knighting a game? Was it worth going through all of that bullshit? Was it worth it? That only you can answer that. I think Elder Scrolls came a long way. I think it deserves its success. But at the end of the day, just, buyer beware. It always comes back to that. And I am happy, and once again, I will state the facts. I am so happy, I am so elated that these are being addressed. And I don't give a shit if this gets 0 views. I don't give a shit. Because a lot of people are going to be like, whoa, you know what? I don't give a fuck. I don't care. As much as you don't care, I don't give a shit. If one person hears it and one person says, yep, absolutely. That's all it was about. That's what it was about. And you know why society is the way it is? Because of this mentality of fear. Or, perpetuated fear. That's why we've gotten the way we have. We've become so fucking complacent, right? That we don't even know when to stick up for ourselves. We don't know when we're supposed to be able to say something. We don't fucking know. Because we're afraid of losing our jobs. We're afraid of, saying things that, is against the government or, our work environment or the education system. We're fucking scared. It breeds fucking fear. Fear of what? I remember, reading history books where people were willing to lay down their lives for the freedom of speech. That people were willing to die for freedom. You know? I remember reading these type of books and asking myself, what's changed? Right? What's changed? It amazes me how we will justify the injustice. It completely befuddles me, man. And once again, to each their own. If you feel like there no harm, no foul, that's your call, man, honestly. All right. Got to get titanium too. Got my coffee, living it up. Once again, to the White Knights, I told you so. Any troll that comes here, here's what all I have to say. Watch this video and listen to these words. I told you so. I told you so. I told you so. I need a lot of this shit, by the way. Because I need this for goldsmithing. I need this for blacksmithing. I need this for armor smithing. I need a lot of fucking mithril sand. A lot. I'm talking like probably like two to 300. It's actually ridiculous how much. I was like, oh shit. I'm like doing the math yesterday. I'm like, oh, fuck me. All right. Let's go. All right. Alright. Alright, I'm going to save that one. We use the 50% one. I want to save some of that for my botany. Alright. What? Nice. About one more turn, and then I'll try to go get some other stuff. Do have to get that rest of that mithril ore. That reminds me. I had a hard time yesterday trying to find out where that mithril ore was. Oh, that's in Chocobo Forest. Titanium ore. See, that has me so perplexed. I'd have to look that up. All right. Okay. This will be my last node on this one. Still have to go. All right. Now let's see if we can find. Oh, well, shit. No wonder. Okay. I gotta go to the southern. All right, that's fine. That one's easy. Dur Mystic. Man, I gotta get a lot of this shit. Boom, 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 boom. This shouldn't take too long. Need about 300 of these, I want to say. Bingo, baby. A lot of mithril ore. If you get down here, do a lot of mithril grinding because you'll be using it twice. Let's go. Get me off that. All right. What is it? 5-1. Yep. 4-1. Ugh, that sucks. Okay. Definitely need to go get more sand later. Because I'm going to need it for my goldsmithing. That just sucks, though. I'm probably gonna end the stream because I hate like crafting and stuff on stream. Um, Gathering anyways. But I honestly, once again, take it for what it's worth, y'all. Honestly, take it for what it's worth. I'm tired of White Knights justifying. Listen, man. If you love something, that's fine. But don't sit there and justify the bullshit when it's bullshit. All right? If you want to play something, play it. Have fun. I agree with that. Totally. You know, if you like playing it in that state, regardless, and you're aware, hey, yeah, there's issues, but I'm enjoying myself regardless, then don't complain. Right? Just say, hey, there is some issues. I'm still supporting you, but there are issues. That's fine. But don't sit there and be a fucking little white knight. Don't sit there and make up fucking bullshit. Don't sit there and say, the game's running perfectly fine. It isn't. Nobody believes that except you. It is not running fine. It hasn't ran fine. It's been a hellhole since it fucking launched. It's getting better, and I agree with that. The quality isn't where it needs to be, but the premise behind it is what makes the game good. All the fundamentals are present. So I applaud ZeniMax and Matt in the team for putting out the Elder Scrolls Online. I do. But there were a couple of major obstacles or things that voted against them. And it's, trial and error. But lessons learned, man. Lessons learned. And hopefully for the board moving forward and the company moving forward, they understand these things because this is their first MMO experience as a company, and they finally have gotten the understanding that, hey, we can't afford to let things get to this point. We can't. Honestly. It's going to hurt us if we just ignore this. It's not in our best interest to do that type of stuff. Okay, absolutely. It's not in their best interest. It just isn't. As long as they know that moving forward, their future products are going to benefit from these mistakes. Why? Because they'll know not to repeat history. Hopefully. And that's the thing. It's people like me and the other people who make quality better. Why? Because we're assholes. We have a certain, demand. It's called supply and demand. That's what it's called. Right? If there's no demand, there's no supplying. Right? And consumers want to do what? Demand a quality. Demand, performance. Demand. Not want. Wanting's one thing. If you want something, do you need it? Do you care to have it? Is it something that you can see yourself doing without? Just because you want it? But a demand is basically saying, I have to have it. I have to have this. And it has to be due to this. This is why I have to have it. It's a give and take on both ends when it comes to that element of, business called supply and demand. Because there will be a high demand for it, right? But the people who also are demanding it will have their demands or their expectations of why they're willing to buy your product over somebody else's. Because that's what a competitive market is. Right? Whatever. So at the end of the day, man, hopefully ZeniMax learns a lot from this and from these lessons. And don't put these things off in the future. It only hurts you in the long run. In the long run, it only hurts you. And if you, god dang, here's my another piece of advice. If you're one of these people who are just giant pussies, get some balls. Grow a pair of cojones. Because I will promise you one thing. If a company can get away with selling you shit, that's what they will give you. If they can get away with it, that's what they'll do. At the end of the day. So you better grow a pair of nuts and say, this is unacceptable. Because when you can do that, it's going to benefit you in the long run. It's called, they're going to benefit from your money and other people's money, and you're going to benefit from what? Putting your foot down. So grow a pair of fucking nuts, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be pussies your entire lives. Once again, I'm Mystic Raven. This is Mystic's MMOs. As always, thank you. And White Knights, especially, for looking so fucking dumb. And have a nice day.